Smith, who has been selected by our senior class. Mr. Smith is a graduate of Marquette High School, class of 1998. He went to further his education at the University of Missouri-Columbia, where he attained his undergraduate degree. He then went to Lindenwood University to receive his master's in both education and school administration. Now, he is currently pursuing his doctorate of education. Mr. Smith has been teaching social studies here at St. Charles West for the past 5 years and is also the coach of the girls' swim team. Mr. Smith is married to Amy and has an 8-month-old son, Ryan. Please welcome Mr. Steve Smith.
About par for the course, isn't it? All right. Hi. I'd first like to thank everybody for taking time out of your busy Sundays to come and watch me give a speech. So thank you very much. Good afternoon and welcome to the 2012 commencement. My name is Steve Smith, and like Tina said, I've taught social studies here for 5 years. So I've had the privilege of getting to know most of you who sit before us today. To the class of 2012, I'm honored and humbled that you chose me to deliver this important speech at what has to be the pinnacle of your educational career. Why you chose me, I don't know, but it's too late. I'd also like all of you to know that I've never quite given a speech like this before, particularly in front of so many people that can fire me. I'd like to start by welcoming all parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, and friends of the graduates. Without you as their support group, many of the young adults sitting before us today would not have made it this far. Let's take a moment and a round of applause for all of them. I'd also like to welcome all of my distinguished colleagues and Mr. Shields and thank them for helping this group make it through 4 arduous years of high school. Mr. Shields, as many of you know, gave this speech last year, making me the best-looking commencement speaker of the past 2 classes. I'd also like to give Mrs. Barr Boland the credit she deserves for putting this event together year after year after year. And last, but certainly not least, I'd like to welcome all of you, the class of 2012. Congratulations on making it to this day. Many of you took different routes to get here. You all arrived at the same time. So congratulations again. So I was asked about 2 months ago to give this speech, and I gladly accepted it. But then I started to share this news with my colleagues, my friends, and my families. Knowing me well, they were a little concerned. So the advice started rolling in. My wife's advice was simple. Don't get fired, don't say anything stupid, and remember, it's not a roast, it's a commencement address. My colleague's advice was this. Wait, you're giving the speech? Really? You? My friend's advice, don't talk about yourself, don't talk about politics, and try to be politically correct. So I thought, if I can't talk about any of those things, what am I going to talk about? So I went to 3 people who know a lot about speeches, the principals, and sought out their advice. First, I went to Dr. Stewart. His advice was simple. He said to me, Steve, what you want to do here is this. Keep it short. No more than 2 to 3 hours tops, and see if they'll let you use the intercom system. Second, I went to Mr. Volkel. His advice was this. Steve, I learned that when I was an English teacher, back when I was an English teacher, and also while I was an English teacher, that the best thing to do was try and piggyback off of some other ideas from speeches in the past, and subsequently use those various piggybacks to help you write a speech that someday someone can piggyback off of you. And if they don't pay attention then, just give them ISS for 3 to 5 days and let them think about it. Finally, I sought out the advice of Dr. Fitterling. She simply said to me, Steve, if you make fun of Dr. Fitterling, I'll flip on the lights and send everyone home early. So keep it clean. Anyways, I recently read an article entitled 10 Things Your Commencement Speaker Won't Tell You by Charles Whelan in the Wall Street Journal. And I thought, I'm a commencement speaker, so I should probably share some of these things. Makes sense. So I thought I'd share a few of them with you, with a few of my tidbits along the way. Number one, some of your worst days lie ahead. Today's a happy day, but in the future, if you're going to do anything worthwhile, you will face periods of self-doubt and failure. Just be prepared to work through them. Number two, don't make the world worse. Don't use your talents to mess things up. We have enough of that already. Number three, marry someone smarter than you are. This is why it took me so long to get married. Number four, read the obituaries. They're just like biographies, only shorter. They remind us that interesting, successful people rarely lead ordinary lives. Number five, continuous learning is your lifelong asset. You guys aren't done today. Things change in all careers. Stay relevant or watch things pass you by. Those most willing to learn are those that will thrive. Those stuck in what they once knew will wonder what happened. Number six, don't model your life after a circus animal. Performing animals do tricks because their trainers throw them peanuts for doing this. It's gonna go. You should all aspire to do better. In your life, you will have many roles: a friend, a parent, a coach, an employee, and so on. But only in your job will you be explicitly evaluated and rewarded for your performance. Don't let your life decisions be distorted by the fact that your boss is the only one tossing you peanuts. Number seven, it's okay to start at the bottom. Most are not going to earn a six-figure income right out of college, and many never will at all. And number eight, make self-awareness your most valuable trait. Find ways to take in feedback and know when to tone down or dial up your voice. Know when the route to success requires your strengths or somebody else's. So I let all of that sink in, we can go ahead and switch gears. I'm not one for inspirational messages, like when you leave here today, you're going to soar with the eagles and fly into the sunset and all that stuff. Instead, I try to be a little bit more realistic and focus on how you've made it to this point and what you can expect when you leave here. So let me start with your parents. They've been there with you from the beginning, and they are just as proud of you, if not more so, as you are of yourselves today. They will be there through good times and bad times as you leave here today. Whether you're going to college, the workforce, or the military, your parents will always be there, supporting you and helping you carry on. For instance, my parents are here today, along with my wife. Yes, I'm 32 years old, and my parents and wife are here to watch me give this speech. I hope they're here because they're proud, but in reality, they're probably just as surprised as many as you were. You see, if you go back in time 14 years to my senior year in high school, when Dr. Fitterling was Mrs. Fitterling and still my AP Lit teacher, my parents, or Dr. Fitterling for that matter, probably would have never guessed that I'd be where I am today. I was an average student in high school, dropping that semester the AP class that I currently teach. I did just a tiny smidge below average my first semester at Mizzou and did not make it into the journalism school. But I worked hard and with the support of my parents, made it here today with what I consider so far to be a successful career in education. 2 points should come from this. Number one, even the brightest, most educated 18-year-old in this room isn't smarter than their parents for one simple reason. They have more life experience than you do. Take the advice they give. I wish I had listened more to mine. I'm reminded of an old song by the old rock group Faces with the lyrics, I wish that I knew what I know now when I was younger. Everyone says this when they're older, so listen to them now. They know better than you do. And two, nothing, and I do mean nothing in life will come easy. You live in a society where many expect things to be given to them as if they are somehow deserved without hard work, as if simply because they are breathing, they deserve something, a bigger car, a bigger house, a bigger raise, or even a job. You are not entitled to anything. You have to earn it. And those things I mentioned are only attained through hard work, oftentimes giving up things you'd rather be doing in pursuit of a loftier goal. Remember this, many of you are often taken by the phrase, work hard, play hard. The catch is, the harder you play, the more work it takes. In the past 4 years, you guys have seen a lot. For starters, you've seen the best 4 years of my career. I'll be a tenured teacher when I step foot in this building in August, and I can pretty much phone it in until retirement. So thanks for those good years, particularly this year's AP Econ class. When you entered high school, the economy wasn't great, and you've seen it gradually improve. The cost of going to college continues to skyrocket well above the rate of inflation, and many wonder if it's still worth it. In short, yes, but be realistic in what you pursue at college. There's nothing wrong with majoring in art or engineering, but make sure you figure out how to make it pay when you leave. Is our economy great right now? But it's been worse, and people have driven through it to better times. Stay focused on your goals, and eventually you'll reach them. Based on a recent survey of 4,200 companies, they estimate that 7% more college grads will find jobs this year than last year, and that continues to rise. So be hopeful and optimistic. You may not get that one perfect job off the bat. You probably won't. It may take several years to get that great job that you want, or you may be passed over several times in various interviews. You just have to be persistent and stay motivated. You've also seen the evolution of social media. Facebook and Twitter have taken off and now define your generation. Seemingly nothing is private anymore, so be wary of what you post. Today, everything can be done via cell phone. Just put them down when you're doing other things. And finally, you saw an end to the best game of hide-and-go-seek in the history of the world, when bin Laden was killed last year. That will be your event to remember years from now. I'll end with this, but not really, because there's still more. A few very practical pieces of advice that will hopefully make your life a little bit more enjoyable. Don't spend more than you earn. Do invest for retirement. Don't rely on Social Security. Don't invest in Facebook. Do invest in Apple 15 years ago. Don't live beyond your means. Do stay away from Vegas. Do visit a national park. Do what you want to with your life, but be prepared for when that doesn't work out. Please don't watch the Kardashians. We can all make them go away. Do spell things correctly, even if it puts you over 140 characters. Do spend time with your grandparents. It'll mean more to them than you'll ever know, and you won't have any regrets when they've left you. Don't get worked up about stupid stuff. Life goes on. Do vote. Do remember that both parties are generally wrong. The right answer can typically be found in the middle. Don't make fun of your three bosses when they're sitting right behind you. Do make fun of your three bosses when they're not sitting right behind you. Don't, when you have kids, try to be their best friend. You're a parent. They're not supposed to like you. Do thank a veteran regularly. Do occasionally talk to your friends rather than text them. Do learn about your credit score. YOLO is not an excuse to act like an idiot. Don't try to start the wave at a sporting event. And do write handwritten thank you notes. Finally, always, always, always root against the Kansas Jayhawks. Class of 2012, congratulations on the end of your high school career. Some of you will leave here and go on to college. Some will leave here and enter the workforce. Some of you will leave here and fight for our country. But whatever it is that you end up doing with your life, you should cherish the friendships and the memories you've created with many of the people sitting in this room today. Some of you have worked very hard to reach this day. Some of you have hardly worked. But it only gets harder from this point on. Your parents have done all they can to help you reach this point in your life. Now, it's up to you. You're not kids anymore. And at the very least, remember this. You now have 99 problems, but high school ain't one. Again, thank you very much for the honor of giving this speech, and good luck to you all.